Newsfirst at 9. Headlines.
Hello, very good evening to you. Welcome to Primetime News, coming to you live on MTV Sports and Shakti TV. I'm Shahin Jurangpati, and these are your headlines. Bank robberies in Moratuwa and Kirlapana. Lasit Malinga named T20 captain for 1 year. Lahir Thirimana to function as deputy. Doctor strike debilitates maternity clinic at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital. Hyderabad Police Commissioner says detectives will be dispatched to Colombo to investigate organ trafficking rackets. Well, I'll join you later on in the bulletin with the latest from the search operation of the capsized South Korean ferry and the current situation in Ukraine. But until then, we now cross over to the main desk for these stories in detail.
Thank you, Shine, and a very good evening to you from us here at the Newsfirst studios. I'm Madhushka Balasurya.
I'm Minoshi Ratnasekara. A look at your top story for tonight. Many incidents of bank robberies were reported in the recent past. In the latest development, a private bank in Moratuwa was robbed while an attempted robbery at a private bank in Kirlapane was foiled this evening.
2 persons on a motorbike with face-covered helmets had arrived at the private bank in the Moratuwa area. They had made off with around 700,000 rupees in cash. Meanwhile, another report of an attempted robbery was received from Kirlapana this afternoon. 2 individuals with face-covered helmets on a motorbike had arrived at the private bank. However, the security guard on duty at the time had wrestled with the suspects. Although a gunshot was fired, no casualties were reported. The suspect had subsequently abandoned the operation and fled, leaving their motorbike behind.
I took a turn onto this road. After travelling for some distance, 2 armed men intercepted me and told me to give them the bike. The moment I stopped, they took the bike and fled. The motorbike did not even start. They had to kick-start it. After they took off, they said that they will eventually abandon the bike. They could not be identified as they were wearing jackets and full-face helmets.
Thefts at several financial institutions by masked and armed thieves. 2 masked armed thieves make off with 900,000 rupees from a private bank in Mathugama. Theft at a private bank in Kohuala. 200,000 rupees stolen from a private bank in Dambulla. 1.4 million rupees stolen from a private bank in Sidua. 5 million rupees stolen while being transported to be deposited at a finance institution in Agalawatha. Bank robberies in Moratuwa and Kirlapana.
In another of your headline-making stories, in sports news, Lasit Malinga was appointed as the captain of the Sri Lanka 2020 team today, while Lahir Thirimana was appointed as the vice-captain for all 3 formats of the game until March 2015. Angelo Matthews, who led Sri Lanka to the Asia Cup win in March, has been retained as the captain of the one-day and test team until 2015 as well. Sri Lanka Cricket said the appointments were given the green light by the Minister of Sports.
Lasit Malinga, who was appointed as T20 captain, has played 56 T20 internationals for its country, bagging 65 wickets, giving away 1,407 runs. Malinga, who has also claimed 256 wickets in 166 one-day internationals, retired from Test cricket in 2011, playing 30 tests and claiming 101 wickets. Lasit Malinga was handed the captaincy for the final 3 games of the 2014 World T20 played in Bangladesh and guided Sri Lanka to claim their first World Cup victory since 1996. The sling-arm fast bowler was also the first bowler ever to claim 4 wickets in 4 consecutive balls. A student of Prince of Wales College, Moratuwa, Lahir Thirimana has played 62 ODIs for his country and has scored 1,322 runs inclusive of 2 centuries. Thirimana has scored 526 runs in 10 tests and has represented the national side in 21 T20 internationals, of which he had scored 237 runs in 15 innings.
Issuing a communique today, Sri Lanka Cricket announced that the national cricketers have accepted the conditions of the annual contract and have agreed to sign their contracts in due course. Attempts made by Sports First to contact skipper Angelo Matthews for a reaction proved futile.
Issuing a communique, SLC said the Executive Committee of Sri Lanka Cricket had decided to appoint a 3-member committee to discuss issues pertaining to player contracts. The communique added that the committee included Treasurer Nuski Mohammed, Chairman Selector Sanat Jayasuriya and Chief Executive Officer Ashley De Silva. According to the communique, the committee had held discussions with the captain of the national cricket team, Angela Matthews, yesterday. At the discussion, he had reportedly outlined the expectations of the team to include a payment of 20% of the participation fee of the ICC and ACC events to the participating players. Following discussions, the committee, in consultation with the office bearers of the SLC's executive committee, offered 10% of the participation fee from the ICC and ACC events to the players, which will be applied for the next 5 years and will be non-negotiable. However, the communique further noted that this will not apply to the recently concluded ICC World T20 2014 tournament. Instead, the players will receive a participation fee and an incentive totaling up to $1.5 million along with the prize money. The offer was reportedly accepted by the players and they have agreed to sign the annual contracts in due course.
Meanwhile, the national squad for the Tour of Ireland and for the one-off T20 International against England was named today. Kumar Sangakkara, Mahalaja Wardner and TM Dilshan have not been included in the squad to Tour Ireland, which begins on the 6th of May. Dilshan is, however, included in the squad for the T20 match for the Tour of England.
The Commissioner of Police in Hyderabad, in India's Andhra Pradesh, says that a team of detectives from the Hyderabad Central Crime Station Police will visit Sri Lanka in the near future to investigate a suspected organ trafficking racket.
Speaking to Newsfirst, Anurag Sharma said this step was being taken in line with information that came to light during the interrogation of 3 suspects who were arrested following the death of a youth from Andhra Pradesh in Colombo on the 28th of March. Commissioner of Police in Hyderabad, Anurag Sharma, noted that the 3 suspects had been arrested for acting as local agents and luring the youth, Dinesh Kumar Maru, to Sri Lanka to donate his kidney for money. Sharma said the agents would collect information on the donors from websites like www.ineedakidneynow.org and www.experienceproject.com, and after obtaining their willingness to donate their kidneys, the agents would contact doctors in Sri Lanka and facilitate the donor's visit. He added that the kidney transplant surgeries would then be performed at prominent private hospitals. Sharma added further that while a special team of CCS sleuths will leave for Colombo for further investigations, teams will conduct investigations in other parts of India to nab the suspects in the organ trafficking racket.
And when Newsfirst made inquiries, police media spokesperson SSP Ajit Rohana had this to say.
It was highlighted in Indian newspapers about a kidney racket, but we don't have such information. We don't have such evidence in Sri Lanka, but at any time we are ready to provide our support and assistance to the Indian police if they are seeking our assistance in order to conduct investigation on this particular issue in Sri Lanka. According to the Sri Lankan law, if a person, he himself gives his kidney to another person and he obtains money, so we cannot take any legal action. He is treated by another person. Or if somebody conducting a surgery and it affects to his health, and if it is created the health risk, then we can take legal action according to Sri Lankan Penal Code. There are several sections in this connection: the cheating and creating health risk, so we can take action.
Representatives of the National Sangha Council met with the chief prelate of the Malwatu chapter of the Siam sect, the most venerable Tibbattuwawe Sri Sumangala Thera, today. The purpose of their visit was to discuss 3 orders that are to be debated in Parliament under the Strategic Development Act.
The meeting between the representatives of the National Sangha Council and the Chief Prelate was held at the premises of the Malwatu Mahaviharya. The Sangha Council representatives had briefed the Chief Prelate on the orders that are to be taken up in Parliament tomorrow and the day after under the Strategic Development Act. The representatives had pointed out that while the orders are said to be for a luxury shopping complex and housing project, there prevails a suspicion among them that this is a guise to enable the establishment of a casino project. We call on the Cabinet Ministers and all MPs not to raise their hands for the adoption of this bill. If you are people who in general love the people of this country, then as leaders and rulers of the people, do not even let your party do something that will harm the people of this country.
Now, views were expressed on the so-called casino bill at separate media briefings convened today.
කැසට් පත්‍රිකාවම එදා ගෙනාපු ඒ පත්‍රිකාවම කැසිනෝ කියන වචනේ විතරක්
In the Gazette notice presented prior to this, they removed the word casino and granted a 10-year tax holiday. The government that is supposed to put a full stop to intoxication is now engaged in everything from gambling and casinos to alcohol. I have always maintained that this is an aimless alliance. They have never done what they say they are going to do. Today it is evident that this is a government that has always broken the promises it has made to the people.
කිසිම දවසක කියපු දේ කරලා නැහැ. හැමදාම ජනතාවට දීපු පොරොන්දු කඩ කරපු ආණ්ඩුවක් ඇටියට අපි පේනවා.
ඕන මිනිහෙක් මේ රටේ බිස්නස් එකක් කරනකොට වැට් එක ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. ජාතික ගොඩනැගීමේ බද්ද ගෙවන්න ඕනේ. සම්පූර්ණ වැට් නිදහස සම්පූර්ණයෙන්ම ජාතික ගොඩනැගීම.
When doing business in this country, we all must pay VAT. They must pay the national building tax. They are granting a complete holiday on VAT and NBT and are introducing a 5% casino tax. But they are not saying that they will do this. They are trying to tell the people that there is no casino in James Packer's hotel. The government thinks that it is brainless fools that live in this country. They think they can deceive us by saying that it is a hotel that is being built and there is no casino in this hotel. Well, people who love and say that they are fighting for this country say no. The government is continuing with this program.
ඉදිරිපත් වෙන මේ රට ගැන ආලයක් තියෙන.
Elsewhere in the country, the Socialist People's Front convened a media briefing today to raise awareness on their May Day proposals and their future political journey. Let's take a look at some of the views expressed at this media briefing.
අපි ජනාධිපතිතුමාගේ ඉල්ලීමක් කරනවා.
We wish to make a request of the President to abolish the executive presidency before the presidential election. This was a promise that was made in 1993 election manifesto of the People's Alliance. In 2005, when the United People's Freedom Alliance came into power, it was a promise that was made in the President's Mahinda Chintana manifesto. I believe that our country and our people can be saved from the danger caused by this conspiracy by abolishing the executive presidency.
මේ කුමන්ත්‍රණයෙන් ඇතිවන අනතුරෙන් අපේ රට බේරගන්න පුළුවන් වන්නේ අපේ ජනතාව බේරගන්න පුළුවන් වන්නේ
අපි මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ පාර්ශවකරු. මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ කටයුතු ගැන අපට සම වගකීමක් තිබෙනවා. නමුත් මේ ආණ්ඩුවේ අපි ප්‍රධාන පාර්ශවකරුවෝ නෙමෙයි.
We are stakeholders in this government. Therefore, we have an equal responsibility when it comes to the actions of this government. But we are not the main stakeholders in this government. Thereby, we must remember that our responsibility is somewhat unequal. The minimum wage of public sector employees is at the same level that it was at 6 years ago. If we wished, we could use the power of the working people in a manner that the government would feel it and commence a strike action. We should be prepared for such action. The army intervened to save this country and defeated the LTTE. But today, as a result of the army's intervention, there is an obstacle to bringing forth national unity. As a result of the army's activities in the northern and eastern provinces, and as a result of army officers being appointed to key positions in these provinces, we can see that the army has become a wedge in the relationship between the people there and the government.
මේ කටයුතු වලින් අපි ඒ පළාත්වල ජනතාවත් රජයත් අතර සම්බන්ධය හමුදාවෙන් බෙදා තබන තත්වයක අපි ඉන්නවා.
අපට ඕන ජනාධිපතිවරණයක් නෙවෙයි.
What we need is not a presidential election. We need to embark on a journey where we abolish the executive presidency prior to the presidential election. In 78, we sat in silence and protested against this at Hyde Park. And this time around, 30 years later, we will be making this the slogan of our May Day rally. The other factor in this matter is good governance. With regard to good governance, you would have witnessed the recent events in Hambantota. We condemn this incident at this occasion. We cannot allow for a collapse in the rule of law.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa paid his final respects to the late mother of Minister Mahinda Amaravira today. The cottage of the late Gajadira Arachilage Karunavati, mother of Minister Mahinda Amaravira, is placed at Ranna Udayala Amaravira House in Tangol. President Mahinda Rajapaksa visited the residence today to pay his final respects. The final rites for the late Gajadira Arachilage Karunavati were observed this evening.
Still in local news, the doctors' strike had a debilitating effect on maternity clinical services at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital today. The strike was prompted by the persisting conflict between nurses and family health workers or midwives.
A large group of people had arrived at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital today to obtain maternity clinical services. However, they were informed this morning that the clinic was not functioning owing to a doctor's strike.
අපි 3 ඉඳන් පාන්දර 3ට මෙතෙන්ට ආවේ දරුවෝ දාලා ඉස්කෝලේ යවන්නේ නැතුව.
අපි දැන් පාන්දර 3 ඉඳන් ඇවිල්ලා මේ බඩගින්නේ මේ නෝනලාට දැන් කරන්තෙත් හැදිලා ඉන්නේ.
ඒකෙන් අපි දැතිබරිකම හින්දා මෙතෙන්ට මේ එන්නේ. නැත්නම් දොස්තරලාලා ප්‍රයිවට් ටයිම් වලට අපි යන්න පුළුවන්.
දී වැඩියා ලඩේක මට දැන් අදින සිහුලින් නැහැ.
Midwives launched an island-wide strike recently over the provision of childbirth training to nurses. Concluding the strike action, the midwives noted that they would not sign the attendance register maintained by the nurses. Midwives at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital took measures to sign a separate attendance register instead. As a result, the nurses decided not to provide the midwives with equipment required for childbirth and to prevent them from entering labour rooms. As a result, a situation where the midwives are unable to participate in childbirth and maternal services at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital cropped up. Doctors at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital say that it is difficult to continue with childbirth and clinical services without the assistance of the midwives. We have not acted in this case to inconvenience all the patients. Only the doctors serving in labour rooms and the maternity clinic have refrained from providing services.
There are about 300 doctors in the hospital at present. Only a small amount are using various strategies to support these people. Yesterday, they engaged in a futile attempt to transfer patients.
ඇත්තටම අපිට එහෙම අවශ්‍යතාවයකුත් නැහැ වෙන රෝහලකට යන්න මොකද මේ හැම පාසුකමම තියෙන හින්දා.
A group of doctors are dancing to the tune of the association and are trying to create problems. They're trying to deliver the infant that should be delivered in Kurunagala in Kandy instead.
We have not decided to transfer mothers at this hospital anywhere else.
As of this moment, we are continuing with our trade union action by signing the attendance register maintained by the senior midwife. We do not wish to report to work at the matron's office.
Can they sign a book they brought from home and report to work? There is no law like this anywhere in the world.
The only request that we should make is that if the midwives are to be removed from the supervision of the matron, then we will battle for nurses to be removed from the supervision of the Director General of Health Services. I am not able to resolve this problem. I have not been vested with the power to do so. Doctors are not going to the labour rooms for childbirth to provide the necessary support. So something has to be done for the mothers, and one step is to transfer them.
The hospital director works as per their appointment. No one can change that. If someone acts to change that, then the director would have to take disciplinary action. The way I see it, if a decision is made as per the administrative prerogative, no problem will arise.
The case pertaining to the murder of the British national Khurram Sheikh and the gang rape of his girlfriend Victoria Alexandrovna was taken up in court today. The manager of the hotel where the incident occurred, R.B. Rangapiris, appeared as a witness before the Colombo High Court Justice Rohini Walgamer today.
Responding to the cross-examination by the defendant's lawyer, the witness said she had informed the police what she saw and witnessed on the day of the said incident and rejected the claims that she had withheld information. When the defense proposed that the statement made by Rangapiris to the police had no important events on the day of the incident, she said that she had no clue as to why all information that was provided during questioning had not been recorded. The witness told the courts that though she signed the statement, the police did not read the contents of the statement and did not make it clear to her. The witness said that during her 22 years of service, this was the most fearful experience she had encountered besides several other minor incidents, and recollects all events on the day of the incident. The case will be taken up in court at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow.
You're watching Primetime News, and up next is Action TV.
An individual who has been functioning in an unrecognized position in the Western Province education system since 2010 and had enjoyed the wages and benefits of this position was granted a legitimate position effective today. The position has been granted against a backdrop where this individual, who officially retired on the 4th of January this year, has for the last 2 months been engaged in various activities, including the transfer of teachers, which at times has required the intervention of the Elections Commissioner. This official held the unrecognized position of Deputy Secretary of Education in the Western Province until the 4th of January. Following his retirement on the 26th of February, this individual appointed another pensioner to conduct an inquiry at Asoka Vidyalaya Maradana into a complaint filed by teachers there. As a result of this inquiry, 9 teachers have now received transfers. The premise for the inquiry was the action taken by close to 100 teachers, including the 9 who have been transferred, to refrain from academic duties on the 25th of February in protest of actions taken by the principal. Some of the reasons cited by these teachers included the principal's decision to provide the school bus for the campaign activities of a candidate from the Gampaha district for the provincial council poll, the appointment of prefects to supervise teachers, and the decision to increase the facilities and services charge from 1,200 to 3,000 rupees without the approval of the school development committee. Although the Secretary to the Provincial Ministry of Education took steps to remove the principal of the school as a result of the investigation conducted by a retiree on the instructions of a retiree, the teachers who complained against this principal have been transformed into the guilty party. An explanation offered by the Chief Secretary of the province shows how the retiree who ordered the inquiry was able to cling to the unrecognized position of Deputy Secretary of Education for a period of 3 years.
He created the position in name and received wages and all benefits. I did not have the power as the former Education Secretary to stop this. It was done with the approval of higher-ups.
The Provincial Education Secretary revealed to Action TV the manner in which this official managed to cling to the unrecognized position even after retirement.
මාස් 3කට සේවාදිකව දෙන්න ඔබතුමානේ
නෑ මම නෙමෙයි සේවාදිකව දෙන්නේ
කවුද දෙන්නේ
ඒ දෙන්නේ අර ආණ්ඩුකාරතුමා තමයි.
Is it justifiable to grant the position of Deputy Director of Education to this questionable official, enabling him to issue transfers as punishment to the other teachers of Asoka Vidyalaya, too, who stood for good governance? Governor of the Western Province, this is over to you.
The Around the World team that is in Italy got the opportunity to attend New Year celebrations organised by the Sri Lankan Embassy in Italy. The team, which consists of members from Newsfirst and Sri Lanka Youth, is due to return to the country on the 5th of May after travelling around the world spreading the message of the World Youth Conference. Newsfirst, Rameshwar Gabandara reports.
Around the world in 40 days.
The New Year celebrations were held at the Panama Park in Rome, Italy, under the auspices of Ambassador Nawalge Bennett Kure. A number of ambassadors from other nations also took part in the event. The event, which witnessed the participation of Sri Lankan expats from all over Italy, was made colourful by a number of performances and games.
ඇතරම ඉතාම සන්තෝෂ වෙනවා පළවෙනි වතාවට රෝමේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා තානාපති කාර්යාලය මගින් මෙවැනි අවුරුදු උත්සවයක් සංවිධානය.
I am delighted that the Sri Lankan Embassy in Rome was able to conduct such an event for the first time. A large crowd has gathered here today. They are our strength along with the members of our staff. What we hope to do through this is to unite the Sri Lankan population living in Italy.
ශක්තිය ලැබුණේ මේ වැඩපිළිවෙල තුල මම බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන්නේ රෝමේ ඉතාලියේ ජීවත් වෙන සියලු ශ්‍රී ලාංකිකයන්ගේ එකමුතුවක් ඇති කරන්න.
We are happy to participate in an event like this together with everyone and share a meal while watching our children take part in various events. This is a good opportunity for children to take part in cultural games. We feel as if we are back in our country. I feel that this is a good occasion to display our traditions.
The kids' fancy dress parade was also another highlight of the event. On a more somber note, the cortege of the late Neil Chammugam, a former group director of the Capital Maharaj Organisation Limited, who passed away last evening, is lying at number 10 Greenlands Lane, Colombo, for the public to pay their final respects. Neil Chammugam was a proud product of St. Thomas's College, Mount Lavinia, and was also a renowned senior cricketer. He was a talented right-arm bowler and represented the Sri Lankan team from 1960 to 1970. Chammugam played for the Mercantile Sports Club and the Sri Lankan Cricket Board Chairman's 11. The final rites of Neil Chammugam will be observed at the Boralla Public Cemetery tomorrow at 4 p.m.
News from neighbouring India. Security forces across various provinces in India held flag marches yesterday as a safety measure for the 6th phase of polling in the ongoing general election. The 6th phase of the election will be held tomorrow, where voters of 117 constituencies in nation's 11 states and 1 union territory would go to the polls.
Police Commissioner in Mumbai, Rakesh Maurya, said the police are prepared to hold free and fair elections in the western city. Mumbai Police Department has identified 291 critical polling booths and 33 vulnerable locations. The police have been initiating preventive action drives in such locations, in which 18,865 preventive action cases were booked and 14,816 people were detained to prevent untoward instances.
We are ready now for the phase of polling on the 24th. I can very confidently say and assure that our force is ready, and we are confident that peaceful polling, a very free and fair polling would be held here on the 24th.
Maurya added that 4,401 non-viable warrants, 5,171 warrants and 10,226 summons have already been served by Monday. Meanwhile, Chief Electoral Officer of the Central Province of Chhattisgarh, Sunil Kujur, said 10.18 million people will vote for 7 parliamentary constituencies in the province tomorrow.
24 तारीख का जो मतदान है उसमें करीब 1,18,02,56 मतदाता इसमें भाग लेंगे। इसमें जो पुरुष मतदाता है वो 60,31,735, महिला 57,72,750, अदर्स 1,340, सर्विस वोटर्स 4,431.
Preparations have also been made in Tamil Nadu, one of India's largest states, where over 53 million people are eligible to vote.
Now, the final round of trials for Super Fighter, Sri Lanka's first reality sports TV program, will be held this weekend in Kandy. Trials will be held under 4 weight categories to select the final group of contenders for the coveted title of Super Fighter. A training camp will also be held prior to the trials by experienced boxing coaches. Aspiring boxers from Central Province are invited to participate in the open trials in Kandy. Super Fighter is a joint initiative of MAS Holdings, Newsfirst and the MTV and MBC media networks.
And with that, we wrap up this edition of Primetime News. I'm Madhushka Balasurya.
I'm Inushi Ratnasekara. It's a pleasure having you with us. We leave you with the weather forecast for tomorrow. Take care. Good night.
0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.